Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. But guys, our team builder here for the WBE week number 8. The Minnesota Vikavolts are taking on the New Orleans Pelippers and Coach Pokemon in an epic week 8 showdown. We are sitting at 6 wins, 1 loss, and John is sitting at 5 wins and 2 losses. He's had a pretty good season so far, and we are just slightly ahead of him in the playoff race. We've actually done pretty well this season with only 1 loss. We bounced back last week. If you didn't see my match against MandJTV, you can check that out there. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down our team, his team, what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it, and everything in between. A couple things I want to mention about his team. We'll talk about his team, like I said, extensively here shortly, but a couple things that he's done a lot of. Out of his 7 games so far, he's brought Deontay to every single game. Mudsdale has come to every single game, and Diggersby has come to almost every single game, all but 1 game, and those are his 3 kind of best Pokemon, I would say, that he's brought a lot this season. Everything else is kind of mixed up. You know, the next Pokemon, MandJTV, has only been brought to 3 games, and everything else has only been brought to 2. So, just something to note there. I thought that it was very interesting that Deontay's come every single time, Mudsdale has come every single time, and Diggersby comes most of the time. So, those are the things that are interesting to know when you look at a team and kind of trying to break down and determine what you think they're going to bring. So let's talk about it. He's got a Salamence. In this matchup, Salamence definitely has a pretty decent matchup, being offensive, maybe Dragon Dance, maybe mixed with Life Orb, maybe just a Z move. I think he's going to want to try to fit Fire Blast on there. He probably needs Iron Tail, maybe a Dragon move like I mentioned. Alakazam, another Pokemon, big threat. Could be Focus Sash, could be Life Orb, could be Calm Mind. Generally those sets, but in this case, I think Alakazam has definitely some usefulness, but it's so frail it can be very difficult to use. Diggersby, I think, is coming for sure, in my opinion anyway. Diggersby is a Pokemon that hits incredibly hard. Its huge power ability allows it to just break through things. If he brings it, I think he brings it probably Scarfed or Life Orb. I don't necessarily think he brings Band because of Skarmory. He can fit Fire Punch or Wild Charge on there to deal with Skarmory, but it's a very powerful Pokemon, very difficult to switch into, so I think he's going to bring Diggersby. Deontay, of course, is Mega Evolution with Magic Bounce's ability. Has that massive weakness to steel types, but I think he brings it. I think he brings Rock Polish this week with his Deontay, because after a Rock Polish, it outspeeds my entire team. Moonblast, Diamond Storm, maybe Earth Power or HP Fire for Skarmory. Makes a lot of sense. Decidueye is one of those Pokemon that he could bring, he could not bring. If he brings it, it's probably like a Spirit Shackle set, just like a pretty standard Decidueye. Maybe Leaf Blade, U-Turn, Defog to remove hazards. Vaporeon, a very bulky Water-type Pokemon. I could definitely anticipate him bringing. It's just very difficult to switch into because of how bulky it is. It's hard to break through. Wish, Protect, Scald, maybe Hidden Power Grass, Toxic, Heal Bell, something like that. Maybe Baton Pass. I don't know if I mentioned, guys, but the match is going to go up tomorrow, obviously. This is going to be a really good one, and be sure to like the video if you haven't, and get ready for the battle. But he's got the Magneton as well. Magneton is interesting bring because he could bring Magnet Pull Magneton as a way to deal with my Skarmory. So I'm definitely expecting that that's a huge possibility, is him to bring Magnet Pull Magneton. Maybe Choice Scarf. He could also bring Eviolite to be bulkier, but I think Choice Scarf is better. Mudsdale, we think Mudsdale's coming. I have so many physical attackers. Mudsdale basically has to come. It's probably a Stealth Rocker, maybe Assault Vest, but probably Stealth Rock with leftovers. I'm a little concerned about a Rest Sleep Talk set because it can be difficult for me to deal with, but pretty standard stuff there for the Mudsdale. Toxicroak is one of those mons that can actually be really devastating for me. He could bring like physically offensive or specially offensive Swords Dance or Nasty Plot, Sludge Bomb, Poison Jab, one of the two. Can carry coverage with Vacuum Wave, especially. It can be really, really powerful. And then Magmar, if it comes, would most likely just be a Life Orb set. I'm sorry, an Eviolite set, just like a bulky, toxic, kind of annoying Magmar. So, in terms of the things that I think he's going to bring, Mudsdale, Deontay, Diggersby, I think that those 3 come. I think Magneton comes. I think Salamence comes. Vaporeon and Alakazam are my guesses for the other 2 slots there. Maybe Decidueye. I could see anything really potentially coming. There's something that like definitely doesn't get brought. But, you know, I 100% think Mudsdale, Deontay are coming, like, and I think Magneton's going to come too, because I think it's his only steel type. It's his only real switch in a Kyurem-Black, aside from maybe Vaporeon, and it can trap Skarmory, so I think he'll do that. So, let's talk about our team, what we're bringing, and why we are bringing it. Let's do it. So I'm going to kick things off here with Kyurem-Black this week. I got a really spicy Kyurem set. I was debating on what to bring, and I actually think he might expect a Z-move or a Choice Scarf Kyurem, but I'm bringing the Assault Vest set. This thing is actually Naughty Nature, plus attack, minus special defense with the Assault Vest, Iron Head, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Fusion Bolt. This is most likely my dedicated lead, unless he brings something totally I don't expect, because it should be able to net a kill. It can live a Draco Meteor from Salamence. It can live an attack from Diggersby. It can live a Moonblast and a Diamond Storm from Deontay. It can live a Flash Cannon from Magneton. Actually, it can live 2 Flash Cannons from Magneton. It can take a hit from everything and just break the walls down, man. We're actually running mixed. Like I said, we have Naughty to boost our attack, but we don't really have attack investment. That allows us to 2-hit KO the Vaporeon 100% of the time with Fusion Bolt. Ice Beam does a tremendous amount of damage, and again, I mentioned the Bolt. Kind of a very funky set, but it does a lot of things that I needed to do. The one thing I'm really nervous about is if he leads Deontay and I lead Kyurem, if he goes for a Moonblast, and Iron Head, I kill him. It's all good. If he goes for Diamond Storm and gets the boost, Iron Head may not kill him, and that would be a devastating first turn. In all my practice matches, it worked out, but there was one instance where the Deontay actually lived. So, something to note, I should be able to net the kill. Most likely, Moonblast is his play anyway, because Diamond Storm doesn't KO like just a regular Kyurem, whereas Moonblast does. So, I expect the Moonblast. But he's got to be weary of his Scarf, because Scarf Kyurem actually runs his team. Scarf Kyurem with Ice Beam, just like I said, it just runs this team. So I think if I lead Kyurem, he has to be very cautious of me being Scarfed. But again, his switch-ins to Kyurem are very limited in the first place. So we'll see what happens there. We're going to be bringing our Florges this week. This is just a pretty bulky defensive Florges. Wish, Moonblast, Protect, Heal Ball. Pretty standard. I was going to bring Calm Mind. That was my original set, was actually Calm Mind. But I just felt like the Wish was really helpful for Kyurem. And just potentially having Wish on the team is really nice. And I honestly, even with Calm Mind, I felt like it was really difficult to set up and effectively use Calm Mind, because Steel Z on the Salamence is a pretty likely set. I think Diggersby can really break through Calm Mind Florges and just really dent it. The Deontay can Diamond Storm it anyway. So I really felt like even though I liked Calm Mind Florges, it just didn't do enough. And Heavy Slam from Mudsdale does so much to me anyway. So we're going to go with the defensive, kind of just pretty standard defensive Florges. I'm bringing my Skarmory this week. This is a pretty standard defensive Skarmory. This is designed to deal with the Diggersby. It slows down the Mudsdale. It can check the Deontay sort of. Can kind of check the Salamence if he doesn't have Fire Blast. Things like that. Slows down Toxicroak. I'm not running Shed Shell though. One thing from earlier this season is K-Cray brought Magnezone without Magnet Pull. I brought Shed Shell. It was a wasted item. This time, I'm willing to concede my Skarmory being trapped. I had leftovers. I just changed it to Rocky Helmet at the last minute because I don't want to reveal my item with leftovers, even though I kind of like lefties on this set. But Rocky Helmet's really nice. Being able to chip away at the Diggersby, which is very important. Chip away at the Salamence if he goes for like a Dragon Claw or a Z-Fly or something. Chip away at, you know, the Toxicroak or whatever it may be. That little bit of damage on those Pokemon is actually pretty important. And I've got Spikes and not Stealth Rock, and that's primarily for Mudsdale. Because it doesn't take a lot from Stealth Rock, obviously, only 6%. So being able to spike those stacks could actually be really useful. I don't know how well we'll be able to spike stack, but it is something that we're going to try to do. We've got the Sturdy, so I can live one hit, as always. And this is kind of this is my main switch into Diggersby. My main switch into, I guess, Salamence, unless he Fire Blast. So we've got some options there. And I can live hits from Deontay and do a lot of damage back with Iron Head. So pretty straightforward again. Spikes over rocks, I kind of mentioned. And I don't want to get trapped. I hope that I don't get trapped. But I feel like by not revealing my item, he doesn't know if I have Shed Shell. So, like, he sends in Magneton, he traps me, right? And then I'm trapped. I can find out if I'm trapped by switching. Like, I can make that switch and determine if I'm trapped. But if he's Magnet Pull, he doesn't know if I have Shed Shell or not. So he has to make that prediction. Does he just go for a Hidden Power Grass, assuming I'm Shed Shell and going to Gastrodon? Does he go for the Thunderbolt just to go for the KO? Like, he's got some tough decisions to make there if he does bring that Magneton. So it's kind of my thought there. Gary, we never lost with Gary. We're going to hopefully keep that tradition going. Gary's got a very special defensive set with the Rindo, as always, man. We got to reduce those grass type attacks. Primarily, potentially Hidden Power Grass from Deontay, but also mostly Hidden Power Grass from Magneton or Alakazam Energy Ball. That's why we have HP Grass there. But Ice Beam, Earthquake, Toxic, Recover. I want Scald on this set so badly, but I think I need Toxic just in case of Vaporeon. I don't want to lose to Vaporeon in a late game situation where I just simply can't whittle it down. His best switch into, like, Gastrodon is really good against Mudsdale and Vaporeon, two the defensive Pokemon that I'm most concerned about. In fact, Gastrodon is actually really good against this team in general, but I need to make sure that I have Toxic, because I need to Toxic those Pokemon, because I find that if I don't have Toxic, I can't do anything to Vaporeon. He just gets free wishes against me, and Vaporeon is hard enough for me to deal with as it is, so we have to have Toxic there, unfortunately. I'm going to bring Manectric here. Manectric is rocking Magnet Rise, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, Overheat. I originally had Volt Switch, but I found that with two ground types, I wasn't really going to click Volt Switch very often, but Magnet Rise is kind of cool. So Magnet Rise allows me to basically go above the ground. I can dodge Earthquakes, and Mudsdale is such a problem for me. So even though my Hidden Power Ice doesn't do a ton to Mudsdale, I can 3-shot that thing, and if he can't Earthquake me back, he really can't do much. Like, he can Rock Slide, Heavy Slam, Close Combat, but none of those options are nearly as good as just clicking Earthquake against me. Overheat's really nice for the Magneton and the Decidueye. This thing can defensively check the Magneton really well. And I also have, obviously, Thunderbolt to just hit things like Salamence if I don't want to HP Ice, the Vaporeon, obviously, the Deontay, all those things. We outspeed everything, which is great, except for Choice Scarf Pokemon like Diggersby. We do outspeed Choice Scarf Magneton, though, which is pretty cool. So Manectric is poised to do a lot of damage in this match. If I use it properly, it can definitely take control of this game. And then last but not least is going to be our Pissimian here. Pissimian making another return to the season, coming back. It's done pretty well the times I brought it. Pretty standard Choice Scarf set. Close Combat, U-Turn, Earthquake, Knockoff. My thought process here is if I'm able to weaken down that Mudsdale with Spikes, get it down to about that 50% range, he cannot actually switch into Pissimian late game, especially if I get Spikes up on the Deontay. Diggersby, Magneton, the two likely Scarfers are outsped by this thing. If he brings Intimidate Salamence, I actually two-shot it after the Defiant boost, which is pretty crazy. I don't necessarily think Decidueye comes, and if it does, I think I have enough things on my team to deal with Decidueye that it's not as big of a threat for me. I think Pissimian either goes in this match or it does nothing. I'm not sure. But again, it's kind of weird because Mudsdale and Vaporeon can really take a lot of hits from it. So I really have to weaken those things down, get those Spikes up, and potentially clean. But what Pissimian also does for me, it gives me a good revenge killer, right? It gives me a Pokemon that can switch into Diggersby. I know I'm going to outspeed it. I can outspeed Alakazam. I can do all those things that I need to do. And just click Close Combat or Earthquake. Earthquake's a really good move to lock into as well, mid to late game. So that's the 6 we're bringing. Excuse me. Ugh, long night. That's the 6 we're bringing. Obviously, I didn't bring a couple different things. I didn't bring Lycanroc. Lycanroc had an okay matchup, but it just cannot break through Mudsdale. Whereas Pissimian can at least do more damage to Mudsdale, I think, than Lycanroc can. I think John's got to prepare for Lycanroc, though, for sure. He's got to run Max Speed Deontay. Got to prepare for Lycanroc, because Accelerock just runs through his team. So I didn't bring that. Venusaur, I thought, was an okay matchup, just because it really... If he brings Mudsdale, Vaporeon, Magneton, and Deontay, like, Venusaur actually looks okay against a lot of those Pokemon, which makes me think that there's a good chance Alakazam comes. And Venusaur stops Toxicroak. Like, Venusaur actually looks really good in this matchup as well. Zoroark, I was really on the fence about Zoroark over Pissimian, just because I can hit the Mudsdale a little harder from the special side, but I just didn't feel like, with him having priority on Toxicroak, Diggersby, the Deontay being faster, you know, Salamence kind of setting up on it, you know, things like that. I just didn't really like Zoroark there. Talonflame is another big threat, though. I think Talonflame could have easily put in the work in this match, too. So I think John definitely has his work cut out for him, trying to say, okay, how do I handle all these threats? Because, you know, Mudsdale can take on a lot of them, but not everything. So keys to this game, though, it's really, I got to get that Kyurem on the field, and I got to get the good predictions and the early KOs with Kyurem. I think if Kyurem can pick up a KO right at the beginning of the match without losing my Kyurem right away, or maybe allow it to come back in later in the match, I can really get some momentum there. I think if I can weaken things enough, what is it called? My Manectric can really put in a lot of work. If he's not Yachi Berry Salamence, Hidden Power Ice just runs through his team. Manectric actually, like I said, just looks so good once things are weakened. Pissimian as well, same kind of thing. So it's really about Kyurem opening the game, hopefully clearing some space for my team. Florges and Skarmory and Gastrodon providing those defensive pivots. I think Gastrodon should be able to get a kill if I use it properly this game. And then either Manectric or Pissimian should be the one that kind of seals the deal for us. So that's going to be our strategy. It's not going to be an easy one. John's a great battler. I feel pretty confident, though. And we're going to jump into this battle. Hopefully pick up a W. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I'll see you guys for the battle tomorrow. That's going to be that. I'll see you guys then. Peace.